Yeah, Brazil. I've been in Brazil with Abanda 5 times. This is the 6th time. And I've been playing Brazilian music for 10 years. But then a couple of years ago, maybe more, I said, well, I'm never going to learn this music if I'm not going to Brazil. And study the music there and find out what is this about. So that's what I did. 2.5 years ago, I started to go to Sao Paulo to some music school, did courses with corporal percussion, a lot of things. And then I have been in Rio, music school, and now I start to understand what is Brazilian music. And for me, Brazil was the question. Is music and the people who do the music. The rest is also it's okay, but for me, what is important here in this country. And from there, then I take it. Okay, why are Brazilians say this? They are very related to music. All the Brazilians, the way they think, the way they do things, they are very related to this particular way of playing music. So for me, Brazil is I have only good experience. Probably because I just come here and absorb everything I can, from the music. Try to learn the basics. And I wouldn't say that it's necessary to come to Brazil to play Brazilian music, but it will help.
Don't you also have a place here? I mean, your love of this place, you also have a place here?
Yeah, well, that started 2 years ago, 4 years ago. I was gonna invest some money, say, okay, and I say, what should I do? What should I do? What should I? So I say, okay, I'll find a place in North Brazil, close to Fortaleza. I love the place. I think it was a good investment. So I bought this place. It is a fishing village. It's a flat. It's a flat in a resort. And it's a fishing village, very small. It's authentic Brazilian. And I love to go there once a year for a month or 2 months. And I feel like it's a kind of paradise. This is nothing else than a small village, huge beach, and very nice people, very, different from Rio and all that. And unfortunately, it's not so much music. But as I always combine Rio or Sao Paulo with this place, then I get my needs, fulfilled.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? What you've done professionally?
Now comes the difficult part of the interview. I'm Spanish. Moved to Denmark 30 years ago. Moved back to Spain 6 years ago. And I also live in England for a few years. So it has been like, kind of circuit. Now I live in Spain, although I'm spending 4 or 5 months in Denmark a year. And I'm a programmer, as an IT programmer, consultant the last 12 years. So sometimes I work contracts 5 months, sometimes a year, sometimes I don't work. The last couple of years, fortunately my economical situation is okay. So I have been dedicated to music, mostly than anything else. That's why all those courses in Brazil and all this stuff. I also start to do corporal percussion, teaching that. Not many places, but I've been now 3 or 4 places, and I enjoy it very much, and I love it. So I'm going to focus a lot in the future around this. I also play jazz music. I always did since I was 17. I still play in Denmark and in Spain with a group, and that is what I have 2 girls. One is 30 and the other one is 25. And I have one grandchild, 1 year old, and that's life. That's what I'm thinking now is to to do what I always want to do, is to work with music full time, 100%. And I have been doing that mostly the last 2 years, but that's what I want to do.
Do you see yourself being a member of Abanda? I mean, you want to continue with this?
Yeah. I think I'm going to tell you that I've been in Abanda 10, 11 years, but I've not always been living in Denmark those 11 years. Actually, I've been living 3 or 4 years in England and some years in Spain. And I've always been playing with Abanda. Any job Abanda plays, I go. Doesn't matter if I live in Spain or I live in England. I catch the plane, play with Abanda. And that's been done for many years. So you question, yeah, I'm gonna continue playing with Abanda as far as they want me.
Why wouldn't they want you? They love you. You love it,
Yeah.
So, where do you see the next tour happening, or is that a work in progress, or what would you like to have happen? 2013.
I'm gonna tell you first one thing. I don't plan anymore very long. I plan very few things, so I don't know. People are talking about coming here to Rio again because they love this tour. They think it was such a fantastic tour. So it's very natural that everybody say, next time we are going there again, and we are going to do that. But things change. It can change 1,000 times before 2 years have passed. So it's a chance that we come here again. Because I remember all the tours, they repeat by year, for example, some 10 years ago. They repeat the tour 3 times because they like it so much. So it's not unthinkable that we are coming to Rio again. But I don't know, it might not happen like that. I will be here for the next workshops and all this in 1 year, because in January, February is workshops. So we'll be here in 1 month again, attending course. I don't know, Abanda. It's a big chance we are coming here in 2 years.
Was there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think as you are a beautiful, fantastic interviewer. And you're doing a great job for Abanda. And never Abanda history has been such a good cover. So that's the last word. Thank you.
You get to Rio, and you all just get off a plane, and it's how long a trip is it?
Altogether, 4 hours from Copenhagen to Lisbon, then a 5-hour break, and then a 10-hour flight from Lisbon to Rio. So what does it make? Almost 20 hours. So it's a long trip, and we arrived very early in the morning, like, what was it, a little over 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we just waited. So what's going to happen? Our Danish connection should show up with some cars to bring us to Villa Leonor, our posada in the Rio. But everything turned out, she came and the drivers came. It just took a little while, as everything does here, especially transport. And we came to the posada, and it's just like, for me it's a routine. I mean, I just like switch off, where's my room, get my things in, where can I go? And then he had this wonderful terrace, a veranda or whatever you call it. Very nice place. So we all met down there, had a meeting, and John, the owner, introduced himself, and we were all settled. We were all very comfortable, I think. The rooms were not luxury at all. They were small. The beds above each other, 4 in each room. But we had nothing to do else than sleep in the rooms, undress, change dress, things like that. This veranda, terrace, was the place we were all the time. happened that Friday? We had some appointment.
Wait, we went right to the square, to the Lagos Lugares, and
Oh yeah. We went to just up the road. There was this like a rondella, like a round square. We should play there and meet the local blocko. Yeah. So I think we just started to play, and there was not very very many people, but there was more people coming when we started playing, and we had a very nice response, and that was like the first impression of Rio, the way they respond to our group, our music, and the way we look, and that we are playing their music. So, and we played another set, and that was the Badalo had arrived, and there was a lot of people from that group coming and listen to our second set, and that was much more energetic and much more people, and response was great, and also it was dark at that time, so it also changes the whole thing. It comes like a roof above. Yeah, that was. And after that, Badalo played in the corner of the square at very high volume, but it gave us a chance to see the local blocko and how it works with like 70 people playing different percussion instruments.
yeah, can you explain what that consists of, and is that a traditional favela with the guys singing in the microphone? And
No, yeah, that Friday there wasn't any microphone, there wasn't any car with speakers. It was just the bateria, just the drums. I don't know really much about it. I mean, but it's a traditional thing that was rising up in the favelas, maybe for the last 100 years, maybe more. But at a certain time, I think they realized that it had a good effect on some, especially the boys, because they were like wild, and instead of them just running on the street and stealing from people or just sleeping on the street, they started to get the young kids into the groove of playing and learning, like it's also a school. So it has a very big social aspect to it, and that makes the kids, the boys and the girls also to feel that they belong in this group. They have a place where they can like invest their identity, you could say, and be within a group is more healthy than just being with a very small group on the street. It's starting to maybe, drink and smoke when you're 10. It's not good.
Now the next day, I think you did your first rehearsals. So how many rehearsals do you like to do when you're on tour like this?
It depends on how much we play. If we play a lot, the rehearsals are not necessary. That would just make people more tired. But we had to have did we rehearse that Saturday morning, wasn't it? Oh yeah, okay. But it's when we come here, like for the first day, it's good to have rehearsals. Also because of the day before, there were several mistakes between the members about the music and how to play this and how to play that. So I think it was just like a lot of things that we had to solve out in terms of the music to make it all go more smooth. Especially the opening of the song. Yeah, it's like our little weak spot.
Well, how does that work within a structure of a song? Do you have, first of all, it's very loud in those things. How do you signal to everyone what song you're playing? I mean, because the shout
The next song.
What song you're gonna even so they even know what they're playing?
Yeah, I usually I know people that I have like different signals for the different songs. Not all of them, but a lot of the songs I have different signals I can do with my hands that make the signal that the next song will be this and this and that.
What are some of them? Can you show me?
Yeah, we have one that's called swing d'accord, and swing for me is like, you know, knipsing your finger. So this is like swing d'accord. Okay, swing d'accord. And then I have like Hvem er mor? We translate it into Danish, which means who's my mother? Hvem er min mor? So it's like hvem er min mor? I use some signs for like a sign language I'm learning because my sister's not very good at hearing. She got like bad ears. She cannot hear. So I'm learning how to use signs for words together with her. So I use some of that a little bit, like who's my mother? And you know, things like that.
What are some others?
We have San Clemente, which is just a group, but we don't know the name of the song, so we always just, it's an area in Rio called Santa Teresa. No, San Clemente. And we play there in Hedo. It's their samba song from, I think, 89 or something. But the tape I had when I lost it. So we couldn't see what the actual name of the song. Or maybe just the label on one side was off. I don't remember. But that's like this. I don't know why. It just came. What do we else have signs? I touch my hip like tentations. But very much it's like games with words where we say what's closest in Danish for the Brazilian title. So we just, is there any Danish words that sounds like this? And then we make signs for that, maybe. So, what?
Isn't there a halo one? Is there something over your head? You do something over your head? Some sign?
Yeah, there's some like, yeah, Hino di Gallo, which is, yeah, like, yeah, for some rooster. We don't play that here. And bandera branca. I just invented that yesterday. I don't know a flag and sign, but it looks like this, a flag. And then white in the sign is like you're dusting off the chalk, you know, on your jacket. So that's white. Like blue and red, you know, different colors have different signs with the hands.
So now to start up a song, there's the startup in percussion, and then there's the startup for the wind, for the brass.
Yeah, it differs from song to song.
So how is it by your signaling, or does there have to be a leader within the section? How does that work?
We decide which song to do. I yell it out and do the sign, and then I make the group, you know, yeah, we play that one, yeah, we play that one. So everybody knows. They don't, but there's always somebody asking, hey, what do we play? Well, ask somebody. Everybody knows. Everybody asks what you know. And it differs from song to song. Some songs I have a signal on the drum. I start on the drum and the band just comes in on that signal, or I whistle a signal, or I count in. So actually one of those two ways to start. And then when we play the rhythm, I count in the horns, either by shouting or with the whistle. If there's a lot of noise going on, I use the whistle, because that goes through everything.
A whistle's important.
Yeah. The whistle is like, without the whistle, it's impossible. Also, to stop the band, I use the whistle in a lot of ways. Some tunes, some numbers, they just stop. So that's easy. Actually, our songs here, they're very short. We play a lot of short songs, while the Bloco, they play for 1 hour, or maybe more, without a break. So it's really two different things. But it's also about energy. When we start to play, especially here in Brazil, especially in Rio, I mean, the energy that are rising from the people to the band is amazing. Yeah, if I could bring 20% of that energy back to Denmark and give it to the Danes, that would be great. Just like 20%. More than that would be ridiculous. Yeah, for our country, I mean, yeah, well, let's not go into that about my country. The Danish audience, they like to look at us, but they don't know the songs. They don't know the lyrics to the songs. I mean, when we play here, people sing along, they know the songs. That's a big difference. It's like if we went here and played Danish songs, people would probably just stand there and look and, wow, what's this? Funny to see, but who cares? So, when we play in Brazil, that is when the band comes really alive. When we understand what we are doing and why we are doing it. A lot of people come here first time and then they say, "Oh, now I understand."
They make the emotional connections with the audience and the feedback, and it's this wonderful synergy that develops.
Yeah, exactly. All that, yeah.
So then, was there a jog before the workshops?
Oh yeah. We, I think it was Saturday afternoon we went to this park where we should meet Vordora, another band that we were connected to. And we had seen them on the YouTube. It was a band with drums and with a lot of horns. And they played everything else but samba, like. And that was interesting. And we had 2 or 3 of their songs sent over on music sheets. So we had actually rehearsed some of their songs, 2 of them. So we met with them, and they were actually going to rehearse their parade that took place the last day of the carnival on Tuesday. So we started to talk together. They don't have a leader, they are like a collective. So I spoke to 2 or 3 of the guys, what should we do? And we decided that we could play like 2 or 3, 4 songs for them, and then we could play the songs that we could play together after that, and then they could do their Bloco rehearsal. So that's what happened. We played some songs, and they were quite impressed, I guess, because they didn't know who we were and what to expect. So I think they just had that wow feeling. Oh, they're good. Completely different than also other bands here, because we haven't seen really this type of band with a lot of horns and playing songs like that, also from all over Brazil. We don't play only samba, we play samba reggae, all these different styles. So after that, we played the 2 songs that we have rehearsed, and that was also a big moment. A lot of sound, and everybody was just so spontaneously almost overwhelmed, surprised about, wow, what's going on here? 2 bands play together and it sounds fantastic. But then Vordora went inside their rope and should have this Bloco rehearsal. But then after all, they invited Abanda people into the rope, behind the rope, and we started to play with them. And we thought they should walk, but they didn't walk. They just were standing there and playing the whole repertoire of theirs, what they should play. And we were like half of Abanda was in there and had a fantastic time. And all we had to do was listen very closely to what they played and then try to follow it. And they were impressed that we could do it. Also the horns that played along with the melodies, after listening a couple of times, they could play the songs. And there were all kinds of songs, you know, Stevie Wonder songs, Herbie Hancock songs, Bob Marley, even Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze or something like that. It was amazing. It was amazing. And they only had one guy amplified. That was the trooper, the big, played the bass parts, and he had an amplifier. Everybody else was just acoustic. And then it's Wardor is like they had all the drums are like parted in like a drum set. So all the solos played like a bass drum. And then they had a lot of snare drums with some different cymbals and hi-hats, two cymbals squeezed together and a little wood block. So everything was just like boom, like a normal rock rhythm or funk or whatever tune it was. And a different approach to the whole thing of a walking band. So that was quite interesting. And everybody from Abanda that was in there, they were pretty high on this. Wow, that was really, can you do like this? And we should play something more like that, you know. And they also had like movements they did suddenly in a certain song. They were moving around like ants, you know, or going back and forth against each other. The rhythm section and the horns, like threatening each other, like in one army towards another, and then the other way, you know. So it was quite impressive.
Yeah, certain members of Abanda were very inspired. I mean, one person in particular that I saw really energized and inspired in his performances was Carl.
Yeah?
Because there were so many dynamic trombone players. Carl's kind of on his own here.
Yeah.
Right now, I know there was another trombone player that's a member,
but he left the band like half a year ago, or maybe 2 years.
He misses him.
Yeah, of course.
But can you tell me a little bit about where you saw certain musicians be inspired by playing with Wardor? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed it everywhere. I mean, also the saxophone players, everybody, you know, trying to hook up with other guys. And
tell me by name.
By name?
Who it is and what specific.
I could see Ulrich was also really happy about it, and Carsten also, because they have played some funk and soul, and are used to playing riffs. My sister, Hannah, she was very inspired. Also a lot of the percussion players, because the basic rhythms were very easy actually. It was like boom, boom, you know, 2 and 4. So, but then they could look and see what was happening. So I don't recall like that in particular who was more inspired than others.
So then the next day we started workshops. So
No, the next day was Sunday.
sorry. So what happened on Sunday?
Oh, Adalo?
Adalo go and meet them at the school?
No, that was later. Sunday was, I don't remember. We don't have a program. My memory is not really fantastic.
I'll go and look in the computer.
Mm-hmm. But
Well, let's go to the workshop anyway, since you can't remember.
no, I personally, it was like me, like one instructor, one teacher watching another teacher. So of course I watched him and saw how did he deliver the new rhythms to people that didn't know it. And also he gave me a rhythm. It took me a little while to find out what he was doing. And he did it so slow that I couldn't hear the rhythm, actually. So I asked him, play a little faster so I can hear. And then I took it. It's not at all difficult. But hearing a new rhythm you're not used to play, it can be difficult, or at least you have to like divide it into a couple of pieces and then put it together and then you have it. So for me it was more like looking at the other people taking in new parts, new figures for their instrument. I think that's very interesting. Let's take a little.
Okay, so you learned 3 songs in 3 days. That's pretty. I'm impressed. Or is that just standard business?
It's possible. The third song it was like in a rush because we went to another place and we didn't have much time. So we just reached to just like touch it and play it through once or twice, and then so we haven't worked further on the third song. But the 2 first we played. Yesterday we played the difficult one that we haven't been playing so much, and it went like just okay. Just okay.
What's the name of that one?
Something Angola. Morena de Angola, see. And the other one is Momento de Agradecer. Yeah. It's like a fochet. And that is a composition of the percussion player Fabiano. And he was kind of, it was his little baby, this song. So that was also fun because it made him work hard to make it sound good. So it's always good when people have some extra interest in that. But all 3 instructors were very sweet, very nice people, and very good, very talented musicians and a dancer also. It was very good. And Antonio made these choices. And of course I had my thoughts, but he told me a lot about especially Fabiano. So I was safe. I felt very secure and safe that this should be really okay. But the horn guy Marcelo, he was. I didn't have any expectations towards him, so I was really impressed about his work, and so was all the horn section. Were very impressed about his work. And we started to learn the rhythms up at the top, at the level of the street, and the horn blows was down at the terraza. And we started boom boom, and he was not even into counting off, just showing the rhythms, and in 5 minutes we could hear the melody with all the horns at once. It just go, and that was nice. Yeah. But again, we are used to learning one song in one day. We do that when we have our rehearsal weekends. So we have done it many times. And now we knew that we had paid quite some money here. So everybody was very concentrated and wasn't, going off for something. Everybody was very concentrated and one-pointed here because, of course, and that's the way it is also. So that makes it also easier for them to make this happen in 3 hours, one song? Yes, because everybody's really into it.
So this performance that happened just on the heels of this, do you feel that, I mean, you guys were really, you were hot that night. Do you feel that this concentrated effort of workshop kind of warms everybody up to this, to be able just to like, oh, like it's like, okay, we've, you know, is there something about that 3-day process or 4-day process?
Yes, I think so, because during the workshop, everybody was like in a learning process and didn't have a chance to play things that they actually could play. So that like accumulates some energy, like a balloon. Like I can play also, and I've learned a new song, but I don't think people are aware of it. But I have experienced it several times before. Having a big workshop. I remember one a quartet. We had a week workshop with 18-piece band, big orchestra, and after that we had a long travel from Marrakech in Morocco, Paris, and then train to Porto in Portugal, and then we played 3 days there. And the energy in the band was outrageous. I mean, we had so much energy saved up from being repressed in this big orchestra. So I think it's just like the same that what you say happened. Everybody looked forward to play. But our expectations on the Petropolis thing with this Aalborg Industries, we didn't know what it was. And when we came, we kind of got the feeling that Louise, our connection down here, had made some pressure on this Danish director to make him make something with us. So he ended up doing this churrasco for the employees. And you need to change tape or anything? No. 2 minutes. So when we finally got there and saw the thing, it looked pretty good. And the other band started out with the local little blocko, played with a little batteria, like 10, 15, 12 drummers. And then a cavaquinho and a singer turned up to the maximum volume. And of course, distorted. Extremely distorted. Yeah, they fancy that. Now distorção, now Brasil, as Thomas said. But when we started, it was like the roof blew off immediately. And all the guys, when they saw our dancers, it was like 95% men, I guess, wasn't it? Yeah, they went crazy. That was fantastic. And the sound, the roof was like this wave roof, probably made of some kind of metal. So the sound was very close to us. It came back right on, but not too boomy or anything. It was very nice sound. And I I introduced my new maestro jacket, which was a very nice entrance, because I waited till everybody was ready, and then I came in just like this, and everybody was just howling and yelling, "Whoa!" Woo! So people maybe thought, oh, they're like their maestro. So maybe we should pick that up as the thing. But that was great. It made me feel quite well. Yeah.
That was a good concert.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound-wise, energy-wise, the girls had a space to do.
It was their night, because the dancers haven't had their best opportunities here. That's been too crowded, and yeah. But here they had like an audience that went crazy on them, and then they had some space. So yeah, that was their high night, I guess.